就在媒体报道美国众议院议长佩洛西暂定亚洲之行可能包括台湾之际，共军北部战区80军团突然在官方微博上叫嚣要备战，引发舆论哗然。不少中国网友问：是那件事吗？暗指攻打台湾。有愤青小粉红留言说，如果真的要打台湾，要捐一杯奶茶钱。80军团微博账号在6月9号也扬言要准备打仗，发出的时间点是美国联邦参议员塔米达克沃斯率团结束访问台湾之际。微博还放上了大规模军演视频。当时就有民众认为，此举显然只是为了忽悠维稳墙内民众。这一次正逢佩洛西暂定访台之际，加上共军所谓的建军节将至，80军团微博又高调写出备战，但却仅有短短2个字，语焉不详，躲躲闪闪。有评论认为，80军团此举应该只是为了宣誓效忠表态度，蹭蹭热度，也是中共战狼外交式的故伎重演，实属黔驴技穷，无需在意。第80集团军隶属北部战区陆军，军部驻地山东省潍坊市，离台海地区约1800公里，而最接近台海的应该是东部战区。新唐人记者赵凤华、民玉综合报道。
Through inheriting her father's wealth, Yang Hui-yan became the wealthiest woman in Asia in 2007, according to Forbes magazine. Her title, however, is now barely held since China's real estate industry has been hit hard by the cash crunch. The vice chairman of giant property development Country Garden has suffered as her net worth plummeted 52%. Her total assets are $11.3 billion, compared to $23.7 billion a year ago. The crisis engulfing China's property sector continues to worsen. According to Financial Times, Country Garden has not defaulted on its debt, and its leverage is lower than that of other Chinese developers grappling with high leverage levels. However, the Guangdong-based group also faces liquidity problems. On Wednesday, July 27th, the company announced a heavily discounted $360 million capital raise, saying it would use the funds for refinancing existing offshore indebtedness, general working capital, and future development purposes. The shares fell 15% the same day, wiping out $1.7 billion from the group's market capitalization. The $44 billion fund the Chinese regime issued to rescue the real estate market only kept stocks from falling for the last 2 days. The market turned bearish again on Wednesday, snapping a 2-day winning streak. According to The Guardian, the property sector accounts for 18 to 30% of the country's GDP and is a crucial driver of growth in the world's second-largest economy. However, S&P Global Ratings estimated that national property sales would likely drop by about 30% this year. On Tuesday, they calculated the suspended mortgage payments could affect $144 billion of such loans. They also warned of further defaults potentially entangling higher-rated entities. Recently, mainland media reported that an Olympic gold medalist in China migrated to Australia several years ago. Although the article focused on the athlete's career choices, the online community was caught up in her leaving the country. As Tax Wake Up reported on July 24th, Chen Xiaoming won several weightlifting championships, including a Grand Slam and a gold medal at the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games. Still, at the height of her sports career, Chen retreated, focused on her law education, and auctioned all of her medals in 2003. The money she earned from selling them amounted to 3.99 million yuan, over $590,000. Chen said she wanted to dedicate the money to charity. Tax Wake Up said Chen dropped her strenuous sporting career because of the injuries she sustained after training for the Olympics. Some years later, she migrated to Australia and continued to thrive by engaging in investment and other businesses. According to Radio Free Asia, as inspiring as the story about Chen representing a benchmark for strong women in the new era, many online comments only focused on the fact that she had moved overseas. Many said they envied Chen for successfully taking a route out of the country while she still had time. This unexpected public response resulted in the censorship watchdog deleting many comments. About 100,000 users left their comments, but only 890 were featured. Australian commentator Huang Fujing told RFA that many mainland Chinese are currently looking to flee the country because of the political and economic crises. But the Chinese government has also tightened policy and prevented mass migration. Huang said people could tolerate political pressures, but not the economic downturn. As early as April 3rd, WeChat searches for the term immigration rose by 440%. Regarding Chen Xiaomin leaving for Australia, Huang suspected Chen may have known the darkness of Chinese sports under the national system. This later prompted her to think of Western citizenship. Xijinping is the former team doctor of the Chinese national team. She sought political asylum in Germany after exposing a shady doping scandal in Chinese sports, and became the enemy of the state. Xue was the chief physician at the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul. Her son, independent artist Yang Weidong, told RFA that Chen Xiaomin's era was the golden day of doping abuses in China. Yang said such practices hurt the athletes, but Chen could not challenge the system, so she left the country. Chen Xiaomin had not commented on her leaving for Australia or the reasons that drove her to sell her sports medals.
Whoa!
Good fun, let's keep it in.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is calling for unity in the efforts of Chinese people at home and abroad for a stronger nation. Xi, who is also General Secretary of the CPC Central Committee, gave the remarks at a conference of the United Front Work Department. It is the top body of the Communist Party of China that's in charge of cooperating with non-CPC bodies and individuals. During the conference, Xi urged party members to stick to the principle of seeking common ground while reserving differences. He said United Front work has helped build connections between the CPC and non-party intellectuals, new social strata, and people engaged in the non-public economy, and has helped encourage cooperation and consultation among multiple political parties. Officials say the CPC's United Front work has been vital in building consensus in China's key movements, including its revolution.
On Thursday, Carlos Tavares, chief executive officer of Stellantis NV, said that the company shut down its only Jeep factory in China. It's because local Chinese officials are increasingly intervening in the car market. Tavares had an interview with Bloomberg Television. In China, the carmaker is implementing a strategy known as asset mitigation. The move came amid rising political tensions between China and the rest of the world, which could lead to economic sanctions. Tavares said, "We have been seeing over the past few years more and more political interference in the world of business in China." He added that the company didn't want to face cross-sanctions imposed on other companies in other regions. Unsuccessful in gaining traction in the world's biggest car market, Stellantis NV announced last week that it would stop Jeep production in China and dissolve a 12-year joint venture with state-owned Guangzhou Automobile Group. Jeep is pulling out of the Chinese market as several established foreign auto brands find it challenging to hold on to their market share, raising concerns about their long-term prospects in China. The conflict in Ukraine also contributes to another concern for Chinese carmakers to consider. Carmakers would consider whether sanctions against Russia would also apply to China if the country takes military action against Taiwan. In addition, the business of international automakers, including Stellantis, Volkswagen AG, and General Motors Company in China, is threatened as local Chinese manufacturers launch multiple fully electric models. According to Tavares, German and U.S. branded vehicle sales declined roughly a fifth in China during the first half, a double-digit drop for Japanese brands, while Chinese businesses' sales rose. Tavares stated that sanctions against Iran and Russia revealed how businesses were forced to choose one of the two sides. Tavares said that the decision was driven by losses and broken trust with its local partner, the Chinese Communist Party, and its economic policies that favored domestic companies.
Well, I don't ever talk about my travel because, as some of you know, it's a security issue. 29号，美国众议院议长裴洛西再次以安全为由，拒绝透露亚洲行是否包括台湾。但他表示，美国相当重视与亚太地区国家的关系，并对这次出访感到非常兴奋。
I'm very excited should we go to the countries that you'll be hearing about along the way.
虽然裴洛西坚持不松口，但美国媒体《华盛顿邮报》报道，外交消息证实裴洛西确定访台。
Diplomatic sources confirm she is set to go, and it will be on the early side of her trip within the next few days. She's also going to Tokyo and Seoul, but the current plan, and again, until she lands, things could change, but is that she's going.
28号，中共平潭海事局公告，30号上午8点到晚上9点，在福建平潭一起与附近水域执行实弹射击训练，禁止所有船舶进入。平潭距离台湾的新竹仅126公里，是台湾海峡最窄的一段。
These are just idle, empty, hollow threats and the like to get us to back down for free. It's just words. We know for a fact that what we're doing is not in any way violating our commitments because we do abide by our commitments. And we just need to ignore that rhetoric.
29号，白宫国安会战略沟通协调官科比被问到是否观察到中方有任何军事行动时，也表示并没有看到中方有任何对台湾不利的具体明确迹象。对于中共连日来的好战言论，科比则表示中共没有必要这样做。新唐人亚太电视张贤玲综合报道。